as usual, the first thing that we do before we start trying to exploit or find any vulnerabilities, we do information gathering. So we try to gather as much information as possible about the target. And web applications are no different. So we're going to start by trying to get as much information as we can about the target IP address, the domain name info, the technologies used on the website, so what programming language is used, what kind of server is installed on it, what kind of database is being used. We're going to gather information about the company, the DNS records, and we'll also see if we can find any files that are not being listed or any subdomains that are not visible to other people. So the first thing that we're going to have a look on is Whois Lookup. Whois Lookup is a protocol that's used to find owners of internet resources. For example, a server, an IP address, or a domain. So we're actually not hacking or doing anything. We're literally just retrieving info from a database that contains information about owners of stuff on the internet. So, for example, when you sign up for a domain name, if you wanted to register a domain name for yourself, for example, zaid.com, when I do that, I have to supply information about myself, my address, and then the name will be stored in my own name, and people can see that Zaid owns this domain name. So this is all we're going to do. If you Google Whois Lookup, you'll see a lot of websites providing this service. So I'm using whois.domaintools.com, and I'm just going to put my target domain name, and I'm just going to use isecurity.org. So as you can see, very simple, and we get a lot of information about our target website. You'll see the email that you can use to contact the domain name info. Usually you'll be able to see the address of the company that has registered this domain name, but we can see that this company is using privacy on their domain, so you can't really see the address. But if they're not using privacy, you'll be able to see their address and more information about the actual company. You can see when the domain name was created. You can see the IP address of isecurity.org. So if you ping this, you should get this IP address, and I'll show you. If I do ping isecurity.org, you'll see it's the same domain name here, same IP address here, sorry. You can see the IP location. We can see the status, obviously it's active. You can also access the history, but you need to register for that. And obviously we can see the title here. And something that's very useful here, we can see that it's using Apache web server. So this is a software that can be used as a web server. And we can see that iSecurity uses this web server, and it's of version 2.2.31. So again, we can use this to find exploits. We can see that it's using Unix, the operating system of the website, of the server, and it's using the following add-ons as well. It's using mod SSL and OpenSSL. Now right here, you can find more information about the company who registered this domain. So again, iSecurity is using privacy, so you won't be able to see the address. You can see that it's saying that the target person is using privacy protection. But usually you'll be able to see phone numbers and addresses of that company. So as you can see, very simple stuff, but it's very helpful in the long run just to know what's your target, what's their IP, what services are they using. We can also here, actually I didn't show you, you can see the name servers that are being used, and we can see that they are provided by a company called dimnov.net. Now if you go on Dimnov, you'll see that this is a hosting company. So if we go on the English version, that you'll see that this is a hosting company. And again, you can even use this hosting company and try to social engineer your way maybe into hacking into your target, into iSecurity. Today we're going to learn how to get information about the technologies used by the target website. So we're going to use a website called Netcraft, and I'm going to put my target here, and as you can see I already put it there, isecurity.org. So I'm just going to hit enter, And again, first of all, you'll see some basic information such as the website title, the description, the keywords, and when the website was created. Scrolling down, you'll see the website itself, the domain name, the IP address, just like we've seen it in the previous video, the domain registrar, so the company who registered the domain for us for iSecurity, and you'll also see information about the organization. And here you can't see it for this example because iSecurity is using privacy protection, but usually you'll be able to see it and see more information. We can also see that it's hosted in Netherlands. We can see the name server, which is dimnof.net. And again, if you just go to dimnof.net, you'll discover that this is a website for web hosting. So we know this is a web hosting company. In worst case scenarios, we can use this or try to hack into Dimnof itself to gain access to iSecurity. Scrolling down, you'll see history of the hosting companies that iSecurity used. And we can see that the latest one is this one. And it's running on Linux with Apache. Same server that we've seen in the previous video, 2.3.31, with Unix mod SSL and all the other add-ons. Again, this is very important to find vulnerabilities and exploits on our target computer. In the security section, you'll see if the website has any spam, and you can see that it doesn't really have any spam. Scrolling down on the web trackers, it will show you the third-party resources or applications used on our target. So we can see that our target uses Google Analytics, Google CDN, and other Google services. So this could also help us to find or gain access to the target computer. The technologies is one of the most important tabs or sections in here because it shows us the technologies used on the target website. So we can see it's using Apache web server. We already know that. On the server side, we can see that the website uses PHP. So this means the website can understand and run PHP code. This is very important because in the future, if we manage to run any kind of code on our target, then we know this code should be sent as PHP code. So if we're creating payloads in Metasploit or even Vil evasion, we should create them in PHP format, and the target website will be able to run them because it can support PHP. On the client side, we can see that the website supports JavaScript. So if you run JavaScript or if you manage to run JavaScript code on the website, it's not going to be executed on the website. It will be executed on the users who see the website because JavaScript is a client-side language and PHP is a server-side. So if we manage to run PHP code, it will be executed on the server itself. If you manage to run JavaScript, it's going to be executed on the users or the people who visit the website. Same here with jQuery. This is just a framework for JavaScript. Scrolling down, we can see that the website uses WordPress. This is very important. So Netcraft will also show you any web applications being used on the website. So WordPress is just a web application, so you could see other examples in your case. And it's an open source web application that a lot of other websites might have. The good thing about this is you can go and find exploits or vulnerabilities within this web application. If you are lucky enough to find an existing one, then you can go ahead and exploit it on the target website. So for example, we have WordPress in our example, and I'm going to go to exploit database. And if we go on the search here, so I'm just going to type in WordPress here, and I'm going to say I'm not a robot. Then we're going to search. And as you can see, we managed to find a lot of exploits related to WordPress. Now these are related to different versions of WordPress, so you need to make sure that you have the same version on your target. And we'll have examples to see how to use exploits like these, but it just shows you how powerful information gathering is. Again, going down, you can see that the website uses cPanel, This is another web application. It's a hosting control panel. Again, you can go on exploit database and see if you can find any vulnerabilities or exploits related to it. And you can also find other information such as that the website uses HTML5, uses CSS, and all that kind of stuff. So Netcraft is really useful. From it, we managed to know that the website runs PHP, it runs JavaScript, it uses WordPress, so we can use WordPress to hack into the website and cPanel. And we can also, if we go up, we also managed to know the web hosting, or even we found that in the previous video, that Dimnov is the web hosting company of this website. So in worst case scenarios, we can try to hack into that web hosting and gain access to our target website.